Every single second, somewhere in the world, 25 pairs of sneakers roll off a production line. That's 2 million pairs per day. But here's what will blow your mind. Each pair goes through exactly 360 individual steps before it reaches your feet. And the machine you'll see at the end of this video? It can cut 500 shoe patterns simultaneously with laser precision in just 8 seconds. Today, we're taking you inside one of the world's largest sneaker factories where 15,000 workers produce 200,000 pairs daily. From a simple sketch to the shoes on your feet, you're about to witness the incredible journey of how your favorite sneakers are born. And trust me, the final quality control test they perform is something you'd never expect. Let's go behind the factory doors. Before a single shoe touches a production line, it starts here, in the design studio. Designers work with specialized software to create 3D models of every component. But here's something most people don't know. A single sneaker design can take 18 to 24 months from concept to store shelves. The design team creates what's called a tech pack, a detailed blueprint that includes over 50 pages of specifications. Every stitch, every material, every color code is documented here. One wrong measurement, and thousands of shoes could be defective. Next comes the prototype stage. Master craftsmen who've spent decades perfecting their skills hand-build the first samples. These artisans are so precise that they can feel a 0.5 millimeter difference in leather thickness just by touch. The first prototype is tested, modified, and rebuilt sometimes 30 or 40 times until it's perfect. But the real magic happens in biomechanics testing. Athletes run on special treadmills while high-speed cameras capture 1,000 frames per second, analyzing every movement. This data determines the exact placement of cushioning, support structures, and flex points. And wait until you see how they test durability. We'll get to that shocking process near the end. Now let's talk about what sneakers are actually made of. A typical athletic shoe contains components from 5 different countries. The synthetic leather might come from Taiwan, the rubber from Thailand, mesh from South Korea, and foam from China. The materials arrive at the factory in massive rolls. One roll of synthetic leather can weigh 200 kilograms and produce 800 pairs of shoes. But here's where it gets interesting. The quality control inspectors check every single roll. They're looking for color consistency, thickness uniformity, and structural integrity. For premium sneakers, some materials are truly extraordinary. The mesh fabric used in high-end running shoes? It's made from recycled ocean plastic, about 11 plastic bottles per pair. The foam in some cushioning systems is so advanced that it contains billions of tiny air capsules, each precisely 0.3 millimeters in diameter. And the rubber for outsoles? It goes through a vulcanization process at 180 degrees Celsius that transforms it from soft material into the durable, grippy surface you walk on. But the most fascinating material process is something I'll reveal when we get to the assembly stage. Welcome to the cutting room, where precision meets massive scale. This is where those giant material rolls are transformed into shoe components, and the technology here is mind-blowing. Computer-controlled cutting machines map out the most efficient pattern layout to minimize waste. The software runs thousands of calculations to nest the pieces together like a jigsaw puzzle, reducing material waste to less than 3%. In a factory producing 200,000 pairs daily, that 3% efficiency saves enough material to make an additional 6,000 pairs. Watch this laser cutting machine in action. It's cutting 60 pieces simultaneously with accuracy down to 0.1 millimeters. The laser temperature reaches 1,500 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt through synthetic materials instantly without fraying the edges. One blade can cut 50,000 pieces before needing replacement. But not everything is done by machine. For premium leather shoes, master cutters still work by hand, carefully selecting the best parts of each hide. They can identify 47 different quality grades of leather just by sight and touch. These experts earn their expertise over 10 years of training. Each cut piece gets a tiny barcode sticker. This tracks every component through the entire production process. If there's a defect in a shoe 6 months after production, they can trace it back to the exact material roll and the precise time it was cut. This level of tracking prevents errors, but there's an even more impressive quality system you'll see at the end. Now we enter the heart of the factory, the stitching floor. This is where 8,000 workers sit at industrial sewing machines, and what they can do is absolutely incredible. An experienced stitcher can complete one shoe upper, that's the top part of the shoe, in just 8 minutes. But that 8 minutes involves 156 individual stitches, each one needing to be perfectly aligned. The margin for error? Less than 2 millimeters. If a stitch is even slightly off, it affects the shoe's fit and durability. These aren't ordinary sewing machines either. They can stitch through materials ranging from delicate mesh to thick leather, automatically adjusting tension and speed. Some machines stitch 5,000 stitches per minute. That's 83 stitches per second. The needle moves so fast it's invisible to the naked eye. Here's something fascinating. Workers rotate positions every 2 hours. Why? Because repeating the exact same motion thousands of times can cause strain injuries. The factory has ergonomic specialists who design workstations and rotation schedules to keep workers healthy and productive. Now watch this automated embroidery machine. It's stitching the brand logo with 15 different thread colors simultaneously. The precision is so exact that every loop is identical across millions of shoes. This machine alone cost $85,000, and the factory has 200 of them. But the most impressive part of assembly isn't the stitching, it's the lasting process. This is where the upper meets the sole, and I'm going to show you why this 200-year-old technique is still irreplaceable, even in our high-tech world. This is the lasting room, and what happens here determines whether your shoes will be comfortable or painful. The shoe upper is stretched over a form called a last, essentially a foot-shaped mold. This process requires both machine precision and human expertise. The lasting machine heats the material to exactly 70 degrees Celsius, warm enough to make it pliable but not hot enough to damage it. Then, with 45 kilograms of pressure, it pulls the upper around the last and holds it for exactly 90 seconds. The timing is critical. Too short, and the shoe loses its shape. Too long, and the material overstretches. Here's where it gets really interesting. The last isn't shaped like a generic foot. It's designed based on data from 3D scans of thousands of real feet. Different shoe models use different lasts, each optimized for specific activities. A running shoe last has a different curve than a basketball shoe last. Now comes sole attachment. For athletic shoes, there are 3 layers: the insole you stand on, the midsole that provides cushioning, and the outsole that touches the ground. Each layer is bonded using specialized adhesive that can withstand temperatures from -40 to +120 degrees Celsius. Watch this. The sole attachment machine applies exactly 8.7 grams of adhesive in a precise pattern, then presses the components together with 150 kilograms of force for 3 minutes. The bond is so strong that it's actually stronger than the materials themselves. If you tried to pull the sole off, the shoe would tear before the glue failed. But here's the secret technique that makes premium sneakers special, and it involves a process you'd never associate with shoes. Keep watching. For shoes with advanced cushioning, we need to go to the molding department. This is where science meets manufacturing in spectacular ways. The cushioning foam you see is actually injected into molds at high pressure. The material starts as liquid pellets, gets heated to 200 degrees Celsius until it liquefies, then is injected into a mold at 100 bars of pressure. That's 100 times atmospheric pressure. The mold closes, and within 45 seconds you have a perfectly formed midsole. But the innovation doesn't stop there. Some premium shoes use a dual-density foam, 2 different firmness levels in the same component. The machine injects both materials simultaneously, and they fuse together in the mold. This creates cushioning that's soft where you need comfort but firm where you need support. The air cushioning systems? Those are even more complex. They're made from thermoplastic polyurethane sheets that are heat-sealed together, then inflated with pressurized gas. Each air unit is tested to withstand 100,000 compression cycles, roughly equivalent to 800 kilometers of running. And here's something that will surprise you. The cooling process is just as important as the heating. After molding, components are cooled at precisely controlled rates. Cool them too fast, and the material becomes brittle. Too slow, and it loses its shape. The factory maintains cooling rooms at exactly 15 degrees Celsius with 45% humidity. Now comes the moment of truth, quality control. And this is where things get surprisingly intense. Every single shoe goes through at least 3 inspection stations. The first inspector checks for visual defects, stitching errors, color inconsistencies, glue marks. They examine 47 different checkpoints and can spot a defect in under 10 seconds. Shoes that fail? They're sent back for correction or scrapped entirely. The second station tests structural integrity. Inspectors flex the shoe 500 times in a machine that simulates walking. They measure if the heel cup maintains its shape, if the sole bonds hold firm, if the upper stretches consistently. But the third test is the most rigorous. It's called the wear test, and it's absolutely brutal. Selected shoes are mounted on mechanical feet that simulate running. The machine runs 24/7, putting shoes through the equivalent of 800 kilometers of running in just 3 days. Temperature sensors measure heat buildup. Pressure sensors check cushioning degradation. Cameras photograph the outsole every 100 cycles to track wear patterns. Here's what's fascinating. Only 1 in every 500 shoes goes through the full wear test, but if that shoe fails, the entire batch gets held for investigation. This level of quality control means that the shoes reaching stores have been proven to last. And then there's the water resistance test for certain models. They literally submerge shoes in water tanks, apply pressure, and check for leaks. The shoes must stay dry inside for 30 minutes under simulated rain conditions. The final stage is packaging, and even this is more sophisticated than you'd imagine. Each pair of shoes is paired up by scanning their barcodes, ensuring left and right shoes from the same production batch are together. Tissue paper is inserted to maintain shape during shipping. The shoes are placed in boxes that have been precisely engineered. The cardboard is strong enough to stack 50 boxes high but light enough to minimize shipping costs. Here's an interesting detail. The packaging line can process 12,000 pairs per hour. That's 200 pairs per minute, or 1 pair every 0.3 seconds. Workers on this line develop incredible speed and accuracy through months of training. The boxes are then sorted by destination. Automated conveyor systems read the shipping labels and route boxes to the correct shipping container. The factory's logistics system tracks every box in real time. At any moment, they can tell you exactly where every pair of shoes is located, whether it's in the warehouse, on a truck, or sailing across the ocean. Before containers are sealed, random inspections happen one final time. Inspectors open random boxes to verify the correct model, size, and color inside. They check for packaging damage, missing accessories like extra laces, and verify the product matches the shipping documentation. From this factory, containers depart every 4 hours to destinations worldwide. A shoe made today in Asia could be in a European store in 23 days, or in North America in 18 days. So there you have it, the complete journey of how sneakers are made. From initial design sketches to the shoes on your feet, you've witnessed a process that combines centuries-old craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. Let's recap some of those mind-blowing facts. 360 individual steps per pair, 156 stitches in the upper, machines that cut 500 patterns in 8 seconds, adhesive bonds stronger than the materials themselves, and quality testing that simulates 800 kilometers of running in just 3 days. That factory we showed you? It's running 24 hours a day, 6 days a week, producing 200,000 pairs daily. That's 1.4 million pairs per week, 73 million pairs per year, and that's just one factory. Worldwide, over 24 billion pairs of shoes are produced annually. The next time you lace up your sneakers, remember, you're wearing the result of months of design work, materials from multiple countries, contributions from thousands of skilled workers, and technology that cost millions of dollars. Those shoes on your feet represent one of the most complex manufacturing processes in consumer products. What surprised you most about this process? Did you expect sneaker manufacturing to be this sophisticated? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into sneaker manufacturing, subscribe for more factory tours and manufacturing processes. Next week, we're going inside a smartphone factory where robots assemble 50,000 phones per day. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.